Hi guys, well today we're going to make a media stand with a hardwood countertop. I'm Linn and this is the Darbin Orvar channel. So I've been saving some e-pay wood up on the rafters for about a year now, so time to bring those down. So these were 4x4 posts, so I resawed them on the table saw into 3 pieces, just a touch under an inch thick each. Once I had 5 boards cut up, I brought them inside where I arranged them so they look good, and then butted up tight without any gaps. Then I made some chalk marks to remind myself which side is up for later, and then just drawing 5 straight marks across for where I want the dowels. Now I'm using a doweling jig here and I'm going for 3/8 inch dowels. So lining the jig up on the mark, clamping it in place and then drilling a hole down. And I also have a stop on the drill bit, so I only go down a touch over half the length of the dowel. And then there was just a whole lot of clamping and drilling to do. And here are all the boards with the holes drilled. Now I'm getting ready here to glue and clamp this counter together. Putting down some wax paper so it doesn't glue stuck, and then putting the dowels and some glue down. When laminating several boards like this, I always like to clamp each section together before moving on to gluing the next board together. And then just doweling, gluing, and clamping the counter together, one board at a time. And I love the part when the last board comes together. And then once the glue had dried, I cut the counter to size using a circular saw. Next, to create a round over edge, I decided to use my number 5 smoothing plane. First, I was thinking of using the router and a round over bit, but then e-pay tears rather easily, so I decided to use the plane instead for a little more control. And that worked out really good. And then a whole bunch of sanding. Once the top was smooth, I brought it inside and gave it a seal coat of this gel wipe-on urethane product. And I will proceed to give this a couple more coats. Okay, now let's move on to the base. I started with checking over the plywood to mark out my cuts. And here are the pieces cut up. Here's the sketch for this media stand. I wanted something that would hold my speakers perfectly, a shelf underneath, and 2 doors to hide things behind. So I started with putting together the base here, and I'm simply using glue and screws. So after making my marks, I am pre-drilling and countersinking, and then clamping the piece in place, which really helps to line everything up square. Then just continuing on with the other side. For some support pieces in the back, I'm drilling some pocket holes here and then attaching that to add some additional rigidity. Also drilling some holes to attach the top through later. Then priming, spackling, and painting the base here. Now let's move on to attaching the doors. So I've got this hinge installing jig which really came in handy here. So I'm using Euro style hinges and I'm setting the jig up for how much of a gap I want in between the door and the side. Then marking out where I want the hinges, adding some support underneath, securing the jig in place, and then drilling down the rather large hole here with the drill. So I'm using these Inset hinges and then marking the same distance as I did the doors, then using this template to mark where my screw holes need to go and attaching the connecting part of the hinge. And I'm using this really handy self-centering interchangeable drill bit kit here. And then just attaching the remaining hinges. then screwing down the hinges on the doors too, and clicking them in place. And I really like these Euro-style hinges. Then inside the cabinet I have room for a shelf. So drilling some pocket holes here, and then I set up some support with some clamps and connected the shelf in place. Then doing a final coat of paint with everything on. And while the paint is drying, I want to take a moment before getting to the legs and the knobs, and those are really cool. And talk about this video's sponsor, TigerStream, which this build was inspired by. So TigerStream sent me their micro PC a few weeks ago, so I've had some time to review it and I wanted to let everybody know a little bit about it. So TigerStream is like an all-in-one media streaming device that connects to your HD TV through an HDMI cable. The unit is wireless and all you need is an internet connection and a television. It's a smart TV box that's powered by Android, and it enables you to pretty much watch anything at any time. It's really great because there's no monthly fees or subscription charges. From movies to TV and sports to live television, this device enables you to bring that easily into your home. During the time that I've used it, it's been really great. I mean, I haven't even used my other subscription services at all, and I've gotten to catch up with a lot of movies and TV shows which have been unavailable on other services. It's really cool because the device doesn't store or download any online content. It simply streams from TigerStream's sources, and they even offer proprietary add-ons like Live TV that makes the device even more fun to use. While I've used it, it's been really nice because there are no ads, no interruptions, and you don't have to worry about viruses or anything like that. It's also nice to have something connected to your TV that's completely isolated from your computer and private information. Many of the applications that run on TigerStream are not available on any other streaming device, and I've been really happy with the 1080 HD quality that the TigerStream offers. So for my awesome subscribers, I'm putting a $50 off promo code in the description that you can use towards the purchase of a TigerStream micro PC. And remember, this is a one-time purchase since there are no monthly fees, which is just awesome. So I want to thank TigerStream for sponsoring this video and for inspiring this cool TV stand. So let's get back to the build. Now we are working on the legs. So since I have an epay counter, I thought it would be really cool to turn some tapered epay legs. So that's exactly what I did. I made one leg that I liked, that measured about 4.5 inches in length, and then I replicated 3 more legs. Once they were done, I drilled a hole on the drill press, and then I epoxied in some bolts and let them dry. Now on the bottom shelf of the base, I drilled 4 holes on the corners, and then I clamped some T-nuts in place. And these bar clamps really worked well for this. Then I could simply screw the legs in place. And I also decided to add some shellac for protection on the legs. Now I also wanted some knobs, and I thought it would be cool to make those out of epay as well. So I've got a small block of epay here that I'm drilling a 15/64 inch all the way through in the center. Then I'm screwing on a mandrel piece that's attached to a drill chuck on the lathe, and then I started turning. I decided I wanted the knobs about 1.5 inches in diameter, and I went from there. So I really liked using the parting tool here to create the shape, and these smaller tools were perfect for the size here in general. I've got some really neat hardware here, which makes it really easy to turn your own knobs. So then I simply replicated the knob I made, put on the hardware, and attached it to the doors. And there you go, custom knobs. I really kind of like that. Now to finish the piece, I of course added some of my beeswax polish. This is the tung oil version, since this is a really nice counter. And there you have it. A really nice media stand where the speakers fit quite perfectly on the sides. I have a center speaker on the bottom and the receiver behind the doors. I really like having the doors here so you can hide things behind it. And I really think it's the little touches that make a big difference here. The turned legs, the custom knobs, And of course the counter. You really can't go wrong with a hardwood counter. So I'm really happy about the way this came out, and I think it's going to be just great for my living room. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time here, so you don't miss any of my upcoming projects. And otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.